Hello, hello. This is the one and only Wellz, and this is Rags2Riches. Now, first, before I get started, I'd like to introduce my new guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? It's Aiden from Deprive Records. We're here at my studio, and we're recording this episode. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is one of the original homies, man. I've known dude since probably 6th grade, man. Made my first music with him, and we actually got a little something in the studio, in the works. We're not going to give too much out, you know what I'm saying? But the topic of today is top 5 producers. Now, this changes depending on who you're talking to, and there are so many producers in the hip hop genre alone. We can't even go in, and I feel like top 5 is limiting. But because it is what it is, we gotta stick with the top 5. Now, I'm sorry I gotta do it to you, Aiden, but I'm very interested in what your top 5 would be.
Do you want to go at it one at a time, like I say one and we talk about it, or do you want me to just kind of right off the cuff just give you my top 5 right now? Because I've been thinking about this for a while now.
Let's do one and then let's discuss.
Okay, cool. So I guess just because there's so many legends, that I look up to, I want to give the fifth slot to someone kind of new or newish, more contemporary. I got to give it to Kenny Siegel. He's produced for Milo. I learned about his production through Milo, and he's been one of my favorite producers for a minute now.
If you had to kind of subgenre him, where would you put him at?
That's a good question. It's kind of out there. His stuff can be really, really rudimentary, really rootsy jazz rap stuff. Those jazz samples, a simple boom bap beat. But a lot of his stuff is pretty off kilter. It could be pretty weird too, So that's what I like about it. It's really colorful, really colorful.
I got you. Very, very diverse in that.
Yeah, it's right. I shouldn't have picked him because now I can't. It's so hard for me to even talk about it.
I got you. All right. So, what is easier for you to do, bottom up or top down?
We'll do bottom up because I feel like we work our way up to the number one. Then that's the way.
Give a little climax to it. I got you.
Definitely.
All right. So, who got your number 5, man?
All right, so Kenny Siegel is definitely number 5. So I guess number 4. This is where it gets tough. All right, let me think of who my top one is. Who my number 1 is. Madlib. Very, very interesting. Yeah.
So why do you put him there, and what is your favorite quality about him?
Well, I just love how he treats sampling. All these producers that are going to be on this list basically have just opened my eyes to the art of sampling and just how diverse it can be and how sampling's not stealing, okay? It's not the same. So I first got turned on to Madlib's production because when I was still diving into the world of hip hop in general. And the album that really launched me in what I felt was the right direction is Mad Villainy.
Oh, yeah. Mad Villainy and MF Doom fucking destroyed it with those rhymes, man. And Madlib definitely painted that picture in terms of the beat and the quality of those beats.
The beats were so zany. They were so bombastic. They were smooth when they had to be. And they're just off the wall. They're always hitting you with I love man, I can't even think of one track off that album. I love Meat Grinder.
My favorite one is America's Most Blunted. Just that simple bass line, doom, 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 doom. America's Most Blunted. I'm oh shit, yo, it goes hard, man.
It does. So, I want to know, do you have a history with Madlib? What's Madlib to you? Do you
Madlib to me is the guy. I know I learned about him from, of course, the same Mad Villainy. I don't know much of his other projects. He's one of those guys to me because I do rap. I just kind of put in Madlib instrumentals and just kind of go in from there.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys when I'm stuck and I need to find inspiration to rhyme, I'll just throw on one of his beats and see where it takes me. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a great way to look at it too. That's actually how I am with a lot of I need to get into the habit now of diving more into I'm totally pointing away from the microphone. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good, man.
To totally really check out a producer's discography. Obviously with producers who I'll be talking about later who have albums and shit. I've heard those. I know Madlib probably has albums too, but I it's true. I've only really heard a holistic work was Mad Villainy. Everything else was just like YouTube instrumentals and shit. But I'm glad you brought up Mad Villainy too, because that's one of my favorite records of all time.
Yeah, actually, while you're doing that, I'm gonna try to pull up.
Yeah, I want to cue up something. That song is a jam. When I heard that, I just could not stop. I just love the humor of it.
Yeah,
I love the actual message behind it too. You know.
Wait, like low key, I didn't catch a message. What was the message that you caught from that joint?
It's literally that like cannabis is good for creativity.
Well, I can agree to that, man. Oh man, all right, let's play a little something for the people.
Here's a little sample of this joint. That's the thing, all the sound effects, the samples from film and stuff. It's cinematic. That's perfect for.
That's the word, cinematic.
It's perfect for MF Doom.
Yep.
Come out to show them. 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 Listening to music while stoned.
I can't even imagine how much time this took.
I wonder how long it took to get that perfect bong sound. Because like I tried that at the house, it doesn't work, bro. Like, it needs perfection, bro.
Soon as you start sleeping, catching you off guard. We rip them now, If you'll all gather close around the phonograph. Never will he boost loose Phillies with the barcode. Or take a whole carload on a wasted trip. Or sit wide out lace tip from tip with him. Some rather baggies other like they cracks and
I think that's good right there. I think I'll get the point. Madlib is a fucking genius, and I respect you for putting him on that top 5 list, man.
It's just a shame that he had to be number 4, but there are just so many producers that I have so much respect for. Like, so we'll say that, like,
but to be fair though, in this top 5 group, it's not just a regular top 5. These are the top 5 of the legends. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
just being in this list means that you have the qualities of somebody who's first off made an impact in the game and changed culture in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's basically what the rest of those are basically the people on the rest of my list. I had to throw Kenny Siegel in there because, like I said, he's someone a little bit more new who I think is doing something really cool, and I think he actually. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a little Madlib inspiration in there because, like, a lot of these new age producers like it minimal with the sampling. You know, they have their sample, they have their beat.
Yep.
Madlib is crazy with layering on those samples. Mm-hmm. He's like pulling sound effects from a million different places, like drums.
It's just super layered, man.
Super layered, and I hope that's something maybe we'll start to see a little bit more of. Maybe just like people who are getting a little bit more adventurous. I want to shout out someone else now. I just got to make sure I say his name right. If you want to talk while I look this up.
All right. Well, while he's pulling this up, I just want to say thank you for everybody who's been listening to us. If you listen to the first episode, dope. And we're going to try to keep these going. I know I said it was going to be once a week. Well, I don't think I said that officially, but that was the plan. But that did not come out the way I hoped to. But now that we have somebody, hopefully we got a regular, maybe.
I would love to be.
Nice. So, who is the guy you would like to shout out, man?
No ID.
Oh, yes.
If I could just shout out No ID.
Yes. Yes.
Not on my list, but very, very good. It's a top 5, so it's really limiting, you know? But yeah, I had to shout out No ID. Like, his production on The Story of OJ blew me away.
Man, it just shocked me because, like, once I heard The Story of OJ and all those songs, I realized how many projects he's touched. You know what I mean? Like, he was on, I think, the earlier stuff with Jay, of course, with Blueprint and stuff like that. And then you see him even on with Logic with, I believe, Under Pressure. So just to see how much he's touched, and I didn't know how, like, influencing in the game he was, man. That's just fucking crazy, dog. I don't know how much he charges for beats, but I'll pay whatever, bro.
I feel that I don't rap, but
you'd pay some shit,
just
right?
to listen to it. Just to listen to. Just
you pay for the listening session, right? You pay $50 a pop to get in,
just for me.
Oh man. Oh, real quick. So you know about the beat battles, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So No ID or Pharrell. Who you got?
Just because of my personal taste, no ID. Just because of my personal taste.
I got you. I think for me, it depends on how it's set up. Because if it's just based on if it's based on the previous work, I think no ID gets it.
Yeah.
But I think if it's based on performances, I think if you get to bring special guests on, I think Pharrell got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his production has been underneath some crazy ass artists, and
yeah, man,
himself included. As a vocalist and as a rapper, he is. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I couldn't even. He's just
he's just A1, bro. That's all you can say about it. He's A1, and he's got that it's soulful, but he's got that it's new age soul. You know what I mean? New age soul in his voice.
Yeah, his voice is very it's not like a super clean thing, he's kind of got a really soulful voice, and that's what I like about it. I'm glad he has a real major spot in mainstream music now, cuz you don't really hear singers like that too often anymore, and he's got such a history. I feel like there are cats listening to him who, aren't even aware of Nerd or any of that, they just hear what he did with Daft Punk and stuff. But honestly, if you could do that, if you're gaining new fans this late in your career who don't know about your older shit, that's kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah, that's almost kind of the peak of your career, because not the peak of your career, but one of the milestones of your career. Because if you look at someone like Jay-Z, you don't know Jay-Z, but now you're listening to the story of OJ, and then they get to go back and then they get to do that dig where they get to look at all the old music, and that's what you love from all those artists. Get that search.
And can I just say that 444 is not really a bad intro album for someone who maybe doesn't know much about Jay-Z. I think this could actually be a pretty good jumping off point, because it's new, it's modern.
Yeah, it's not only new, but it's also, I think, the most vulnerable we've ever seen Jay-Z get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very intimate. This is there's no artifice. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no curtain between the real Jay-Z. There's no persona, there's no there's no thug Jay-Z. There's no, You know what I'm trying to say?
He's what did he say? He's this not Jigga, this is Hove.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're getting all of him in this record. And also shout out to that elevator, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say on the Jay-Z subject. But number 3.
Yeah, let's see if we can blow through the rest of my list, because I want to hear yours, and I don't want us to have to be running the clock. So where was I? I did Kenny Siegel, did Madlib. Number 3, DJ Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, introducing.
No, we might have to play one of his records only because I don't have a lot of knowledge of DJ Shadow, so I would love to be put on.
Dude,
that's one of the main points just for the listeners as well. If there's something that you don't want to know and you want to know, let me know, because if I can't put you on, I'll try to find somebody to put you on as well. And the same thing for me, I'm trying to get put on with everything, all the knowledge possible, bro. So tell me more about this dude, DJ Shadow, man. What's up?
All right, well, he's actually got a new joint coming out. I'm not sure if it is out. I only see 4 songs here on Spotify, but it's called The Mountain Has Fallen. It's kind of a reference to one of his more recent releases, The Mountain Will Fall. Going back, I think his most influential record is probably Introducing. That was a major breakout record for instrumental hip hop. It's an instrumental hip hop record. And the sampling is just nuts. I mean, I'm 99% sure there's Bjork on there. Shout out to Bjork. I got a poster right next to me.
Nice. Yo, I love that when you find those obscure samples that no one would typically use, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You could even see from I'm going to show Jay the album artwork now.
Oh,
it's
man.
just at the record store.
Yep.
And that's where he got the records that he sampled. It was stuff from his record store. So there's obviously there's a lot of old kind of more typically sampled records, some more jazzy shit. But there's actually a lot of contemporary music of when this record was made, there's actually some pop even hiding in here.
Oh, nice. Maybe we could just play one of those records, man.
Yeah,
get that quick put on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me see. I know I got to get off Spotify. Let me find it on YouTube real quick. And also just I want to say it borders outside of even instrumental hip hop and goes, I would even say, to like soundscaping. You know, like there is like some really just experimental shit out here on this record, and I think you're gonna really like it. Let me see if I can find like what's a good one to kind of start it off. Guess gotta go with let's do the number song.
Breakdown, baby.
Ooh. Okay. Yo, those are some filthy drums, bro.
Yeah. And I just gotta say, this is a producer who is not minimal in the slightest. I'm gonna also pull up one of his new joints real quick. This is a collab with Danny Brown, one of my favorite rappers. This isn't it? Oh, nice. Let me hear. Horror Show.
Kind of sounds a little bit like MF Doom a little bit, just a hair, man. Yo, Danny Brown just makes me smile, bro. Like, just his vocal tone is fucking nuts, bro.
He is like no other, man. That's all I gotta say on Danny Brown. But yeah, so his production more recently has gotten like really crazy. Like he's so into like I hear a lot of like knob twisting and like, you know, granular synthesis and shit like that. But yeah, I just got to give it to DJ Shadow for just being so unique. And even to this day, still on the cutting edge, you know, like still doing shit that nobody else is doing. And that's why I like DJ Shadow.
All right, let's go. We're moving up, man. So let's go with big number 2.
All right, number 2. This was a tough one. Because let me shout out an honorable mention would be Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, yes.
I especially love how his production on Flower Boy. You know, I've always liked his production style because I think it's always been really... I really fell in love with it on that Fuck It single. Mm-hmm. Can I curse on this?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, bro.
Nice. That Fuck It single really turned me on to his shit, you know, like, especially, like, you know, that bar, like, I was writing string sections on my tour bus, you know? I love that.
Like, producers feel that line so much, man.
Oh, for real. And so I gotta shout out Tyler, the Creator. You know, don't judge me for that. I love him.
Oh, nah, you can't be judged for that because, like, Tyler's one of the most, like, not just out there, but he loves to experiment, which I love. So he's like a perfect mash of like these dark, crazy chords that make you think someone's gonna die, and these like really pretty chords that think you're about to go fuck a chick. You know what I'm saying? And he blends them all together and makes a perfect song out of it.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. So Tyler, the Creator. Number 2, gotta be. This is tough. This is really tough. But it's gotta be Nujabes.
Nujabes.
Yes.
Underrated, bro. I don't really hear that name too much. Let's go.
I think he is a huge reference point for this new wave of like lo-fi hip-hop producers on the internet. You know, like before, like just before the term like lo-fi hip-hop was the tag, the searchable tag, you know, the clickable tag. Because it was always lo-fi hip-hop. But like before that was it was like Nujabes style shit, you know? And, you know, that's just like the pretty piano, the jazz samples, you know, all that, the dusty drums. So I think he's a huge reference point for, and even like, I'm sure now it's gotten, like, lo-fi hip-hop has gotten at that point of oversaturation where there are people who don't even know other hip-hop.
True.
Jumping onto this, you know, just because that's, if you don't...
Like, there are literally live lo-fi mixes that you can listen to, so it's just like 24/7 live lo-fi hip-hop.
That's how many people there are out there making this shit. Like, it's a very dense genre. But yeah, I think he's a huge reference point for that. And I gotta say, if you want to listen to like something in that vein that's like a little bit more colorful than your average lo-fi hip hop producer, you know, he came up on the same time as Jay Dilla, you know, who we'll talk about later. But yeah, so Nujabes has got to be my number 2. He also just like the Samurai Champloo soundtrack, like. I mean, like, well, as soon as because I didn't know like that anime had a hip hop soundtrack. Mm-hmm. So when I heard like Nujabes in the opening theme, when I like clicked on it, I'm not sure if he did the opening theme. I'm pretty sure he did. either way, it's a fire beat.
It's fire, bro.
But you know, he's definitely involved with that, and so that like was really cool too. That's why I like Nujabes.
Okay.
All right.
Now we are moving up. I'm doing a terrible drum roll, but it's not working. So we will continue. Aiden's number 1.
J Dilla.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, go. I'm sorry.
No, you go, because like...
Oh, no, I was going to say, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Donuts.
Donuts was a game changer for me. That record just... I thought I had an idea of, like, what hip-hop production could be.
Yeah.
And that just...
It just blew up your fucking mind, like... No, because that's what it did for me, man, because before I even knew about J Dilla, I knew about Kanye West.
Yeah.
And
ooh,
then
Kanye too. Shout out to Kanye.
Oh yeah. Well, he's gonna be in my top 5, so we're gonna have our little minute for Kanye. But then I looked back at J Dilla to realize some of those early choral samples was where he discovered that sound. You know what I mean?
You see, that's awesome.
It's like Kanye West, but completely in the raw. You know what I mean?
Gotta love that. So do we have J Dilla in common on our lists? I'm sure we do.
Oh yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to just leave it off there that he was just a huge... When you showed me that Flowers beat, changed everything for my production. And that's still like... Flowers is still one of my favorite tracks. All right, but Jordan, I'm sorry I ate up so much time. We still got enough for you to do your top 5, but I'm done. Hit your top 5.
Nah, actually what we can do is we can approach my top 5 later. But I think we could use this time a lot better just briefly talking about J Dilla and Kanye West.
All right, cool. So I'm new to the world of Kanye West. So late to the party, but I want to hear what are your thoughts on Kanye? How are you feeling about Kanye? As a producer.
Okay. As a producer, Kanye West changed my life. He was one of the first few people I heard when I listened to rap. That was somebody that my brother actually introduced me to, my older brother. Production-wise, that sound everybody knows him for, that high-pitched chop sound, it is freaking amazing. You know what I'm saying? And the way that he picks samples is very interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I like his ear. Like, and I just want to spend one day in the studio with him. You know what I mean? I want to see his process. You know what I mean? See how he goes about picking certain samples and things of that nature. But I think one of my favorite songs from him was Heard 'Em Say with Adam Levine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was one of those mashups I didn't think would happen, but I was so glad did, because it was peanut butter. And it's like peanut butter and chocolate. You know what I mean? That's the best way I can explain it. You know what I mean? It works perfectly together. You know what I'm saying? I think when you look at how he's going, he knows how to see what's going on, kind of go with the flow of what's going on, but at the same time try to reinvent himself. You know what I mean? So he's not taking anything away from what's going on now. He'll actually probably take some like notes from what's going on. That's why you see him do a lot of features. Like, I wouldn't think of him doing something with Chief Keef like Don't Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's able to hop on that remix and just kill it. Same thing with the birthday song with 2 Chainz.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? But then he'll still give you stuff like The Life of Pablo that reminds you that, yeah, he's still Kanye. Yeah, and that Kanye still loves Kanye. You know what I mean?
Kanye loves Kanye. I think it's pretty interesting how now my first, don't laugh at me, my first record of Kanye's that I listened to all the way from beginning to end was The Life of Pablo. And what I thought was interesting is now is like listening to that one first and then hearing his older work. I could hear all the times where he self-referenced like on The Life of Pablo, where it's like Kanye inspiring himself basically. Yeah. You know, like a lot of the production tricks that he was just starting on like Graduation turn up more refined on The Life of Pablo. You know, like especially on like production for the track like Saint Pablo versus just like almost anything off Graduation, honestly, because it's got like those samples mixed in with those synth leads, you know. So I thought that's pretty interesting. I love his sound for that.
And what's best about that, I think, was the choir with Kirk Franklin, I believe. I forgot what Ultralight Beam. There we go.
Ultralight Beam is amazing. Because it sounds
the way the choir sounded. I forgot. I think it was like the Vox Box or something like that. They did like a little brief like documentary about his sound. and they said that the choir was made to specifically sound like it was in a church. So I went back and I tried to listen to it again to try to hear that and listen for those things, and it really does. You know what I mean? All those things he nailed on the spot. Well, not on the spot, but they were very on point to what he was trying to do. And it's not even just his music alone. We're not gonna spend too much time on your boy, but it's not just his music alone. But if you look at Jay-Z's career, you know what I mean? Like, I think he would have been fine with Just Blaze and No ID, but Kanye West gave him that extra oomph, that extra swag in his step, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That took him to the next level.
I gotta agree. I think it was just, I mean, that was like getting into the bling era, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Kanye is just like, still to this day, I feel like he's underappreciated because there's so many people who are still sleeping on him, like I was, like, because I was like, oh, he's obnoxious. But
yeah, we could get on that too, because he's
we could have an episode about Kanye.
We could. We'll save a lot of that for later. But you are right. His attitude sometimes comes off the wrong way. But that's another whole conversation, including the little narcissist thing that we were talking about before.
Oh yeah, we could get into that too. Jay Dilla.
Yes. Let's go right here, my man JD. JD, one of the most prolific producers of our generation. And first, before I even say anything, let's have a brief moment of silence. Rest in peace to Jay Dilla. And also, there are so many rappers and great musicians that we lost. Prince, Michael Jackson, Phife Dawg, recently Prodigy, so many people that we lost. So we're just going to have that brief moment of silence. All right, now back to this motherfucker JD, man. All right, so I want to hear your thoughts on donuts, man, because I don't know about you, but donuts changed my fucking life, bro.
It did. It changed everything for me, man. Yeah, like I said, it's just like I said earlier, it's just it's unmatched, you know, like that just was, it's so it's on the cutting edge, you know, just like how DJ Shadow was on the cutting edge. I think Jay Dilla was in his time even more on the cutting edge, you know, like there are still production tricks that he used on donuts that like I have not heard turn up in modern music, you know, and I think it's because people just can't, you know?
Yeah. JD was definitely a one of a kind in that, man. And I think a crazy story I heard about him was that he would clean his studio meticulously, right? So he would just play a record, let the record play, and as the record was playing, he would clean the room meticulously, right? And then once it's all said and done, he's picking out slowly, just keeping mental notes, like, okay, I'll sample this, I'll take these drums here, I'll take this rhythm, and then he'll compose the record like that. And I think that's just a crazy way to go about it, you know what I mean? Just like looking at the way all these different artists not only find samples but find their ways to be creative. That was definitely one of the most like the most interesting ways that I've heard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's, you see, I love like getting into like producers' thought processes, especially like guys who I regard as genius, you know, like, I mean, hearing how they do stuff is just mind-blowing. Yeah. He's definitely just, he was like, God, I'm getting choked up. He was just unmatched, you know, unmatched.
Yeah, I'll never forget seeing that, was it the song for Phife Dawg? The song Phife Dawg did in response to Jay Dilla's passing. It was very inspirational to me to really look back into his music, because I saw how much emotion that Phife Dawg put into that verse. That made me think, oh, this guy's an important person. Let me go see who that is. And I ended up actually trying to study him, trying to figure out how he was doing all this stuff, man. And I think Flowers was one of the craziest beats I've ever heard, man. Just, it reminded me of like, kind of like the old, not like blues in a way, but it was in the same vein. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. The samples in it are dusty. They got so much love in them. I just love what he's doing, you know, because it's not just like, oh, he layered a drum break with a sample.
Right.
You know, you could hear him, you know, he's got a low pass filter on the melody, you know, he's cutting. Yeah, Jay Dilla just is the man. So any last words on Jay and this whole thing in general?
Okay. Well, first, another RIP to them, because a lot of our geniuses seem to be dying. So just another RIP. Also, if you haven't listened to Donuts, listen to Donuts.
Listen to Donuts.
Just the intro alone will get you. Now, once again, it's your boy Jay Wellz with my very special guest. If there's anything you'd like to plug, here is your moment.
Just if you're interested in like the local punk scene at all, just check out my record label, Deprive Records. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, man. And this is Rags to Riches.